Hey, welcome to another episode of the Fifth Growth Machine podcast. I'm Brian Dursintul, your host, and today we have the one and only Lee Dumas. He's the host of Entrepreneurs on Fire, an award-winning podcast where he interviews inspired entrepreneurs who are truly on fire. With over 2,500 episodes, 1 million plus listens a month, and 7 figures of annual revenue, Lee Dumas is just getting started. Before talking to him, let me tell you that this episode is brought to you by BSR Digital. I mean, we get it. Customer acquisition costs are going up. There's lack of tracking. Attribution is driving you nuts. And audience sizes are getting smaller and smaller after the iOS 13 update. If that wasn't enough, there are other factors such as the recession and supply chain issues, making it harder than ever to grow your e-commerce brand. That's why now more than ever, we need to understand that it's really important to level up the marketing and design a solid strategy, as what used to work it doesn't anymore. At BSR Digital, we have been helping countless e-commerce brands that wanted to scale their business to the next level through paid ads and email marketing for over a decade. To learn more, you can visit us at bsrdigital.com, and you can also email us at hello@bsrdigital.com. Now, as promised, I have John Dumas here with me. Hey, John, I'm happy that you're here. Thanks a lot for taking the time. I'm really excited about this, and I will start with some really strange opening line. I envy you because I wanted to be like you when I was really, really young. I used to think when I saw people getting off, I don't know, Mercedes-Benz or MBW, what do they do for a living? I would love to know. I'm really curious. I want to learn all about them to see how they have achieved success, or what I thought it was success, right? Back then. And you get to do that every single day. You discuss success stories with people, So I really admire you. I really admire you.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate those kind words. I've admired a lot of people in my life, and pretty fortunately, I've gotten to interview a lot of them. So it's been cool to connect with those people that I admire on a one-to-one basis like we are now.
Yeah. I mean, I know you interviewed a lot of people, a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And if you had to tell me a few things that you found in common, like the greatest commonalities, what could those be?
The three things that really bubble to the surface when you ask that question is successful entrepreneurs are productive, they are disciplined, and they are focused. They have those three qualities, they have those three commonalities. But the problem is a lot of people interpret and define those commonalities incorrectly, in my opinion. Productive. What does it mean to be productive? It means you're producing the right content. And so many people are like, oh, I'm running around in circles. I'm doing this and doing that. At the end of the day, they're like, I was so busy today. I was so productive. And if I was to analyze their day, I'd say you were busy, but you weren't productive, because productive means you are producing the right contents, the right results for your business. And then moving on to number two, discipline. This is so common. Successful entrepreneurs are disciplined. And how I define that is they are a disciple to a plan of action. They have a plan of action every single day, and they become a disciple to executing that plan of action. That's what successful entrepreneurs do. And then number three, focus. I've actually got a little thing on the side of my door there. It's called FOCUS because it's an acronym. Follow one course until success. Unsuccessful people have multiple things they're chasing at the same time. They're like going in 4 different directions at all times every day. The successful people, they find one thing. They focus. They follow one course until success. Those are the people that win at very high levels.
Great. That's a great definition. And thank you for that. So, if I don't, I mean, I'm all about productivity, setting goals and all those stuff, but why do you think that it's so easy to say, but it's really hard to get it done? What are people, or most people, failing at that they cannot, even if they listen to your advice or whoever advice, it's hard for them to keep up with that, setting goals and being productive?
Because life is overwhelming. Things are coming at you from all over the place every single day, every single week, every single month. Family, friends, health, wellness, jobs, financial struggles, everything is coming at people from all over the place. World troubles, I mean, it's just nonstop. And so it's so hard to not get overwhelmed. It's so hard to really be that person that's like, I'm going to focus. I'm going to just become great at this one thing and then go all in, because that's what it takes to achieve greatness. And I like to say, and this is a reality, if you create the number one solution to a real problem in this world, you will win. Now, there's some key words in there. Number one solution. I didn't say the number 10 solution or the number 200 solution. I said, if you create the number one solution, not just to any problem, a real problem in this world, you will win, because people will beat a path to the doorstep of the number one solution in this world, and they will ignore the second best solution, the 10th best solution, the 384th best solution, because nobody cares about those solutions. They want the number one solution to a real problem that they're experiencing. So if you create and focus on that, you will win.
Yeah, and I guess to find that solution, I mean, there's a process and it takes a lot of work to get there and then start, working and being productive. Well, you need to be productive
To
even
jump
before
in,
you find the solution. But
it starts with a big idea, and everybody has a big idea. But unfortunately, that's where people stop, because from the big idea, the next step is discovering the niche within that big idea that is not being solved, that's being ignored, a solution that is not currently being served. That's where your opportunity lies. So you probably are listening and you have a big idea now. But the problem is, with a big idea, a lot of people have that idea. The competition is fierce and you will get squashed or ignored in the saturation that is your big idea. So you have to identify the one micro niche within your big idea. And I mean, let's even use an example, like Uber is a niche. The big idea is, how do we get people from point A to point B? The niche that wasn't being solved was being able to, at a moment's notice, call up, push a button and have a car waiting for you at a certain moment. No, you had to go outside and hope to flag down a taxi or call, the dispatch and wait for, they solved a problem that was not being solved within a big industry. And of course, that's a broad, example of somebody winning at $1 billion level. But what if you just won at $1 million level, a fraction of that, and it's out there?
yeah, and I know yeah, I know you talk more in depth about this in your book, the book you released last year, The Common Path to Uncommon Success. It's in my wish list because I'm all about productivity, setting goals, and many other things. So I'm going to read it for sure. But you break these down into chapters, right? Coming up with the idea, the big idea. What are some of all of them for sure are important, but what are some of the ones you would like to mention now that you think that people should, pay attention to, right?
The longest chapter by far, it's about 5 times the length of any other chapter in the book, is creating systems and automations. So many people don't spend any time creating systems, creating teams, creating automation. And so every single day they're waking up and they're recreating the wheel, and they're never making much progress because they're doing all the little things, all the busy work, all the distractions. You need to take everything possible off of your plates and put it on to somebody else's plate on your team, or onto a system or an automation, or just get rid of it because it's not worth you doing on a day-to-day basis, and only focus on the things that you can be doing. When I launched Entrepreneurs on Fire, people said, John, you'll never be able to create a business doing a daily podcast because it's going to take up every minute of every day to do a daily podcast. I created such amazing systems and automation and team that I literally run my business, Entrepreneurs on Fire, which is a multi-million-dollar net profit a year business, 4 days per month, not 4 days a week, 4 days per month. That's where I got my business to. And it didn't come overnight. It came over years. I'm 10 years into my business. But let me tell you, once you figure this part out, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, I admire you. Again, I keep saying that because I do, because, many people, including myself, we struggle to create even one piece of content per week. And you create uh, daily podcast episodes, emails, you create, social content. It's like, how do you do that? And now you're saying that it doesn't take, I don't know, 1 hour a day, it takes 4 a month, right? That's crazy, man. So, where do you think that people should start to create those systems that now sounds like everyone listening might say, this guy is in another level, is super sophisticated, everything he has achieved, but how can they get started to get there? And how long do you think it will take them typically?
Well, step one, you buy my book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success. And I will teach you step by step how to create the processes in your life to get you to where you want to be. But, the simple answer is you got to start small. You got to sit down and you've got to write down everything you're doing throughout the day. And this is not just one day. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You need to be able to look back at the last 7 days and see at what time and what action you took and continue to monitor that, to understand how you're spending your time, what you're doing, how much time is taking. And then you start to say, which one of these things can I hire a virtual assistant for from the Philippines for a few $100 a month and offload it onto them? What system, like a suite process, is like a system that you can start implementing things into that's automatically doing these things. And you start pulling things off of this activity list that you're doing every single day, every single week, every single month. And you're just now refining it down until you get to the point where you're only doing the things that only you can do. Like what you and I are doing right now, I can't offset this. I can't send this off to my VA. My interviews for Entrepreneurs on Fire, I can't assign this task to anybody else. That's something that I have to do. But almost everything else is something that I can assign to somebody else. My team, my systems, my processes, my automations. And it starts with writing everything down.
I got a last one for you about podcasting. Do you think the audience listening, they are e-commerce brands, directors, owners, founders. Do you think e-commerce brands should start podcast if they don't have one, and why?
No, some of them, yes, but all of them, no. Because listen, the reality is this: you in the e-commerce world, if you have the number one solution to a real problem in your area of expertise, which in this case would be e-commerce, then you creating a podcast around that content will be fantastic. But we need to be honest. Very few people have a number one solution to a real problem in this world. So this world doesn't need another e-commerce podcast interviewing other people in e-commerce, asking them the exact same questions, having the same exact repetitive, pale, weak imitation podcast episode thrown out to the world. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your efforts. But if you are, on the other hand, somebody who created something amazing, special, unique, that's a number one solution to a real problem in your world, then a podcast could be an amazing way to get your voice, your message, your mission, your ideas, your concepts out to an audience that really needs it.
Awesome. For you guys listening or watching this, of course, as always, you can feel free to go to fitgrowthmachine.com and grab the resources mentioned here. And the ones that we didn't mention as well, we will include them there. So thank you a lot for being here. I really appreciate your time. It was a pleasure for me to interview you. So please, why don't you tell people where they can go to learn more about you and your company?
Well, if you like podcasts, listen to Entrepreneurs on Fire. It's a daily podcast interviewing the world's most successful entrepreneurs. Also, eofire.com is the headquarters there. And if you are one of those people that's interested in podcasting, freepodcastcourse.com.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man, for being here.
Adios, brother.